equating cyberbullying to stalking. Talks are underway in Albany to get a law on the books to do just that. The proposal would make online bullying of someone under 21 a misdemeanor. If the victim commits suicide, the online bully could face second-degree manslaughter and up to 15 years in jail. The National Crime Prevention Council says almost half of all teens in the U.S. have now been victims of cyberbullying. Joining me now to talk about all of this, Roni Benson of Cyberbullies Beware and the Bully Frog program. This is a crusade that you have been on for many, many years.
Yes, it is.
And technology has made it much more dangerous, hasn't it?
Absolutely. We start out when we speak to little kids saying bullies are cowards, and the bullying online is a whole way of bullying, often anonymously. Someone who wouldn't have the courage to say something to your face suddenly is empowered to do things online. It's out of control. Parents have no clue how much trouble the kids are getting into. The kids, I think sometimes kids are just stupid. They do stupid things and it's mean, but they don't think of the consequences. We're big believers in consequences, but I think there's a lot to be said from the beginning of bullying to leading to bullycide. And it is a law, it has been a law like for over 10 years in Canada where they've had, due to suicides. But
and it's amazing we've got a term for it now, bullycide.
Yeah,
that's what they're talking about in the legislation.
Right.
Bullycide, children and teens and young adults who kill themselves because they're being cyberbullied.
Well, there's a whole element of social cruelty. I mean, definitely girls today are meaner, and this ability to just, we say to kids, the middle school is the most difficult for this, but we say, like, just wait 1 minute before you send that message. Think about, do you really want to say that, and do you really want everyone else to know what you're saying? And you can't take it back, and kids have no idea that they don't get the idea. There's no privacy on the internet, and the meanness of what they've done, and the only way that any of this is going to work, laws, legislation, fabulous, but parents, schools, and kids all have to be on the same page about what's
Do we need to
on.
get tougher, though, with the laws? I mean, equating it to stalking, charging, people who are mean with manslaughter. Do we have to take it
I think
that
there's
far?
a real problem with language, because there is such a thing as teasing, and having a sense of humor, and teasing is part of life. And if a kid looks at another kid wrong, or if a kid says you look goofy in that hat, it's not bullying.
We've all been teased.
Yeah, and you want to teach kids to say, hey, you know what, I like this hat. And they go, okay, I thought you were cool with it. But it's really this kind of bullying and meanness, which is now, the cyberbullying. The kids have no control. They have no ability. Like parents will say, so why do you look at it? Or the sexting. The girl, she has got a girlfriend for 5 minutes. I mean, the girl has a boyfriend for 5 minutes. She sends a naked picture of herself, and it's now the whole school. So, there's all sorts of laws that are trying to catch up. But we've worked with the FBI and the police really in different parts of the country, and their goal is for it to be handled by the school and the families, and not for it to get into the court system.
Do you think the schools and the families can handle it?
I think that if they can handle it in the beginning, in elementary school, and if they get their kids to talk to them, and if everybody is on the page in terms of a kid feeling unhappy or scared or getting a terrible message online, tell someone. If you're embarrassed, don't tell your mom or your dad, tell your social worker, tell a teacher. But that's the really scary part about this, that how long does this go on before it becomes a legal thing and before it drives a kid to suicide? And like a 10, 11-year-old kid who gets this message about it'll get better. I mean, I think it's a great message, but it's
they're hurting
their
right
whole
then
life.
and there,
They don't want to go to
Adolescence
school
is
the next day.
hard
It's very hard.
without
very
having
hard.
to go through
Very
that.
hard, and kids are very mean.
In the final 30 seconds I have with you, if a parent knows their child is being cyberbullied, the kid has gone to their parents and said, Mom, help me. What do the parents do? I
think they have to go to the school, and even though this is tricky, I don't mean to put the responsibility on the school, but because the bullying happens often at home or often in the evening, if the consequences are brought back into school the following day, then you want the school to get involved in terms of programs for the whole school. It's not about that one kid, because that kid that it happened to that day can happen to this kid tomorrow, and it has to be an understanding of this behavior is not acceptable.
The community's responsible.
The community, the parents, the kids, and the schools have to be all on the same page before it gets to legal action. That's, I think,
Roni Benson, always your insight on this topic is wonderful and very much appreciated. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you very much.
Saving our kids and helping them grow up strong. For more information about Cyberbullies Beware, log on to news12.com and just click on numbers and links. Well, still to come for you, Bill Corbell has a check on your 7-day hyperlocal forecast, plus